Welcome back to Cinema So Good, Even Yo Mama is Watching. In today's video, Hasan has responded to Ethan's lawsuit. Frogan is panicking and deleting all her videos. H3H3 has made a couple of follow-up responses. Asmongold, Tectone, and XQC have also reacted to the nuke. Alrighty, subscribe to witness the downfall of every Hasan supporter in existence. And let's begin with Hasan's reaction to the lawsuit. Basically, if you didn't catch the last video, Ethan Klein is suing Frogan, Denims, and Caseytron for copyright infringement on the grounds that they reacted to his content nuke video, maliciously trying to take away from the content.
He wanted to basically sue everyone that watches the content nuke, and he's Mr. Copyright Infringement is trying to litigate the resentment that people feel towards him once again, which I think is very weird. He launched a lawsuit against Frogan, Denims, and Caseytron. Now, a lot of people watched his content nuke. I don't know why he only sued those people. I mean, I watch his content nuke as well.
Yeah, classic Hasan. I don't know why this is happening, guys. Almost like he explains it in the video, you absolute dunderhead. Of course, he didn't even do 1 second of research before commenting about the situation. This is such standard Hasan, bro. I'll break it down for you. The reason he's not suing you is because, luckily for you, your reaction was 9 hours long and did actually fall under fair use. Meanwhile, your devout followers did not get the memo of what constitutes fair use reactions and ended up violating copyright. Also, if you take a look at Hasan's demeanor in this video, he seems really grumpy and upset about all of this, and I have a theory regarding that. I think it's because his friends are gonna start to beg him for money, and Mr. Greedy Communist Socialist doesn't want to cough anything up. So after this, he keeps addressing arguments basically nobody made.
I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even
Yeah, except I didn't do any of those things, which I feel like is a major failure of a trap. He begged me to watch it for months. He cried on camera that I just refused to watch it. And then I even told him I'd watch it alongside him if necessary. And then I ended up watching it months later to fundraise, and it's a 8-hour reaction for even half of the content nuke.
Yeah, he never said he was gonna sue you for this video. Who is this guy talking to, honestly? This guy might actually be schizo. He literally has voices in his head telling him random shit, and then he just goes on long rants about it. And some of these voices are obviously the chat who are just kind of baiting him along. We saw a couple of videos ago, he was basically losing his mind over Asmongold saying that he would nuke Iran, which never actually happened. Asmongold never actually said that.
Asmond really defended US nuking Iran and killing people? I can't really believe it. Why can't you believe it? It's the most believable thing.
And Hasan just, has a meltdown for over a minute over something that didn't happen. Then he tries to make the argument that Ethan has said in the past that he allows people to react to his videos.
Why would you admit that you were doing entrapment? Like, you wanted people to go react to your video. You said you wanted people to go react to your video. You said anyone and everyone can even, make money off of your videos in the past when we had a podcast together, only to then turn around and be like, actually, I got you. You reacted to my video and therefore you're done. He claims you're watching it was fair use, unlike those he's suing. I thought about not responding to this, but it's so silly that he was like, he's openly admitting that he was baiting me into a lawsuit and then it didn't work. So now he's just like going after other people that reacted to it as well.
Right. I love how this chatter just said something that was completely true and then added randomly, this man's a lunatic at the end. What does that mean? You said a true statement and then added, this guy's a lunatic. In this particular case, for the content nuke reaction, Hasan's reaction was fair use and Denim's wasn't, which is why she's getting sued. She specifically said she was doing it maliciously, it was serving as a market substitute, and obviously that is just not allowed. Now, Hasan brings up entrapment, and that is usually in the case of police or law enforcement or a government agent, right? And I think there are exceptions as well, but I highly doubt it actually applies to Ethan in this case. And if you notice, basically anyone that Hasan quotes is always some random person who is shilling propaganda for him. And in this case, it's this person who you've probably seen make like 50 idiotic tweets, like all glazing Hasan. Now, obviously these guys left out the context of that. Basically, Ethan says that he does allow reactions, but that doesn't mean you can go to the fucking toilet or smoke for 20 minutes watching his video. He does clarify in that clip as well. He obviously is referring to fair use reactions that transform the original video into something else and don't serve as a complete market substitute. Now, this next part, Hasan calls out Ethan for turning on a Muslim.
Hasan, he absolutely did not make the nuke with this in mind. He's just acting now. He thinks he's in a way that a villain would act. Yeah, it's kind of sad either way. It's sad to try, and it's sad in so many different ways. The reason why it's sad in so many different ways is because, like, then, okay, the content nuke was actually bullshit. Like, you don't actually think I'm a terrorist. You just slandered your Muslim former podcast co-host a terrorist for what? This trap?
Bro, Hasan is actually Schrodinger's Turk. Turkish when convenient, American when convenient, white when convenient, person of color when convenient, Muslim only when convenient to the situation. By the way, isn't this the same guy that dates prawn stars and goes to brothels?
No. She only with one dude.
Huh?
And I didn't care.
Literally nothing about this guy's values is Muslim at all. He just likes to wear that label so that it's a defense from anything, and he likes to call people racist about it. Apparently, you're just not allowed to criticize Hasan about anything because he'll play like the religion or race card or whatever. This is the equivalent of Anissa saying she's 8% Muslim or whatever, while doing OnlyFans and saying she left Islam. Also, just responding to this comment here, he absolutely did not make the nuke with this in mind. I mean, didn't Ethan literally register the copyright beforehand? So obviously he had some sort of plan in mind. Then he completely misunderstands what Ethan was saying or intentionally represents it. I can't tell at this point.
Like, that was your brilliant plan? Like, the terrorism stuff was actually nothing? Cool, man. Thanks. The demands for deplatforming that are baked into the video. Very strange stuff. While Hasan advocates for the annihilation of all Zionists, since the vast majority of Jews in the United States say caring about Israel is essential or important, this would necessarily include the vast majority of Jews, even if they support the Palestinian cause and vehemently condemn the actions of the Israeli government. The vast annihilation of Zionists. Zionism is a political ideology. And I don't think I've ever said we must annihilate. I'm not even going to finish that because he's going to clip this out of context and then use it in his next lawsuit probably.
Oh, don't worry. We don't really need clips out of context with Hasan. We can just play the clips in context of what you've said before.
This will never happen, but in a totally just world, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi. And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this.
Yeah, I mean, that's possibly the closest thing you could say to Jew as humanly possible. Also, Hasan supports the death cult leaders of Iran. He supports the terrorists like the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah, who actually, do want to kill all the Jays. Now, after this, Hasan gets called out by an actual sane chatter.
I agree with the bottom line of this video. When someone reacts to a video without any reaction, shouldn't happen. Maybe I'm insane. No, but that's the reason why he's trying to use this as a form of attack, so that people like you who have this opinion, he knows that he can't litigate this issue on the basis of his support for Israel, okay? So now he's trying to litigate this issue on the basis of React content, which is more in line with the normal kind of drama that he engages with, and that a lot of onlookers, such as yourself, will go, well, I kind of agree with that. He made this YouTube video. He has every right to sue people for copyright.
I'm so confused how someone who is thinking logically could possibly watch Hasan. Like, how do you say that comment and then are completely okay with Hasan just walking away from his chair like every time, leaving the video playing? That's just crazy to me, but I don't know. I imagine half his chat is filled with hate watchers at this point. Now, I do think it's true that the only reason Ethan is doing this is because of revenge, and obviously these people went after his kids, supported the CPS call, etc., and have constantly harassed him all this time, so obviously he wants to get back at them. But the fact remains that Ethan would not be able to do shit if they themselves did not completely violate copyright law. They have themselves to blame for this. Right, so after this, he tells people to support the 3 orbiting moons, conveniently not supporting them himself financially at all.
But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is specifically so that you guys go and show support to Denims, Rogan, and Casey Tron, because obviously he has a ton of money, and he's going to use the ton of money that he has to bully other content creators who don't have a ton of money and try to win some kind of public opinion battle. That is partially the reason why he went after Frogan, Denims, and Casey Tron. These are people who get insane lines of attack, and most people don't choose to defend them.
Right, so just one question, Hassan. Why don't you pay for this? If you think Ethan is totally in the wrong here, it should just be a slam dunk for you, you know? Put your money where your mouth is. Help your Hassan clones. But of course, he'd rather just send his audience to the GoFundMe so they, you know, the brokies, can go and donate instead, while Hamas Diddy Stingy Wingy Piker will not spare a single dollar to help their defense. Because he's all talk, obviously. He's only looking out for himself. He can yap on all he wants, oh, I support these people, but the second his friends are in any real trouble, he will run away, even though he is still defending them and thinks they're in the right. Now, obviously, if your friends do something wrong, you shouldn't support them, but here, he thinks they're doing something right, so he's choosing purposely to not support them. And this is pathetic from a fellow One Piece fan. You know, did you learn nothing from the show? Support your friends, Hassan. That's not the One Piece spirit.
I don't think he actually wanted the smoke, which is precisely the reason why he didn't like try to do this for me or any other content creators who reacted to his context puke.
Again, just constantly trying to manipulate his audience. Ethan clearly stated the reasons why he sued those people in particular, but of course he's intentionally trying to mislead people, forming completely different arguments to make the other person look stupid. And he will always do these extreme comparisons to make sure people know not to support him. And who does his audience hate more than anyone? Trump, of course, so he compares Ethan to Trump.
It's so funny in this video, he says XQC and Asmon he wants to be cool with, and yet XQC had him have that whole debate where he did the worm. Yeah, I mean, Ethan Klein is very similar to Donald Trump in many ways. Donald Trump will let bygones be bygones as long as you offer fealty, or as long as he can use you. Ethan sees Asmongold and XQC as allies. Ethan sees a bunch of neo-Nazis as reliable allies because they all despise me.
Yeah, comparing Ethan Klein to Donald Trump is the most insane shit I've heard in a while, and I've been watching Hassan for like 40 videos now. You do realize that Ethan is a lefty, right? And Trump is obviously on the right, so I don't know how they would possibly be similar at all. The comparison he just made makes absolutely no sense, considering in the same comparison, like the sentence after, he said XQC and Asmongold are now neo-Nazis? Right, so they are neo-Nazis and not the guy who just spends all day doing anti-Semitic rhetoric. I just love this whole situation because how do you call people Nazis while trying to shit on Jews every 5 seconds? The level of cognitive dissonance you have to be a Hassan fan has to be completely crazy. But anyways, it seems I'm suddenly being pulled in a certain direction. Oh shit, Frogan has entered the orbit. Oh my god. She's absolutely shitting herself now with a threat of a lawsuit. Here we got a tweet from Yeet. Apparently Frogan deleted all of her Twitch VODs, or at the very least unlisted them. And here we got a screenshot of her channel. No videos found. Interesting. Tectone responds, Twitch servers just freed up 18 terabytes of data trying to load up Frogan's model many times. Great job, moron. That's destruction of evidence. Deleting the evidence. There's no way that could possibly backfire. That seems like the action someone who did nothing wrong would take. Ethan's lawyers like that. She is not smart. Right, so I don't think deleting the VODs is gonna help at this point. I'm pretty sure Ethan and his lawyers have got them archived, almost certainly. That's a pretty standard thing to do if you're gonna make this move in this whole lawsuit. You're obviously gonna save some of the clips you're gonna need to prove your case, right? Not to mention, most of the damaging clips are already in Ethan's video, so there's no actual deleting what is already public and what we've already seen. I feel like those clips alone are enough to completely destroy you in court, but if they do need something else, I'm sure they have it as well. I think for the first time in her life ever, she's gonna have to order a small fries. Ay, 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 ay. The torture for her, bruh. Ethan is doing her a favor, to be honest. This is like a sign from God to lay off the snacks, dog. Now, apparently, Ethan is taking no prisoners. He's subpoenaing Reddit moderators now. Ethan says he can now subpoena Reddit since he listed the H3 Snark moderators as co-conspirators in his lawsuit.
Creators of the Snark that I show in this video, they colluded with these creators to help create a market substitute for my work. And it was pinned by moderators. So these moderators are named as co-conspirators. And now that we've filed a complaint officially, we can subpoena Reddit for for their to see if they have any identifying information so that we can also sue them. Yeah, so that's the good thing. A lot of these people have already tried deleting evidence, which is no bueno. By the way, my favorite part about this is like, you guys can shitpost on Twitter all you want, but this is an actual lawsuit and it's happening and it's coming, and you're gonna have to argue in front of a judge, and this shit is not gonna work, right? It's not gonna work. That's the best part about this. You guys are fucking screaming into the wind. You're not gonna stop what's coming.
Yeah, bro is just going scorched earth on everybody. Trying to find the Reddit moderators is absolutely diabolical. Can you imagine they actually end up getting a Reddit mod in court? Absolute cinema. They need to stream that trial, bro. I would get so much slop out of it. And to anybody saying that this is going too far, you gotta understand that these H3 Snark mods have been trying to ruin his life for a while now. Like, they are the source of a lot of this, and, you know, Hassan and his goon squad uses them for a lot of the slander they do. So, in my opinion, it's very justified to go after them as well. Now, Ethan talks about their GoFundMes.
Although I think nobody really cares about any of these people. Least of all Hassan, who is not opening his wallet, by the way. They've each made, everybody's made a GoFundMe. Denims ran. She was so fast, and she wanted to open hers before Casey Tron and Frog. They all now have a GoFundMe. And I think it's so funny that now that they're competing against each other for defense dollars, and Smog the Dragon, aka Hassan Piker, the communist, socialist savior, he is not opening his wallet. And he didn't donate. Why the wouldn't he donate at least?
That I don't know.
Like, why he's saying, you guys go support them. I'm not.
You know, this kind of reminds me of a very similar situation. Remember when Frogan told this to Ludwig? When Ludwig donated 10K to the Palestinians, and Frogan was like, keep your chump change, right? As if she wasn't begging for rent money on stream.
So I personally donated 10K because I think it is worthwhile.
Keep your fucking money. Keep your $10,000. Keep your little chump change. Like,
so I just wonder how she feels about her god Hassan, who doesn't even want to donate even 10K, actually $0 so far. So if she thought 10K was chump change, well, how much is $0? I don't know, guys. I think there's gonna be a breakup. Dude, you know what's gonna be absolutely amazing? If all the 3 Hassan orbiters here just completely turned on Hassan because he refuses to financially support them. Oh my god, the levels of cinema. I am cooking right now. I am cooking. Did I just predict the future? If this happens, holy shit, this will be amazing. The content, I'm dreaming. I'm creaming my... Okay, I'm sorry. And I feel like one of the reasons Hassan is not supporting them is because he kind of knows they have lost this case. Obviously, publicly, he's not going to say that, but he knows that they have lost this case. So whatever he donated would be going to H3, which he obviously doesn't want to do. Unfortunately, this is kind of what happens when your side is filled with idiots. Now, apparently Reddit is lying about Ethan again. They're saying that they're only small female creators. He doxed their addresses, which never happened. So Ethan says they're posting outright lies. Now, Dan Saltman talked about how much it's going to cost. I don't think these people understand that these lawsuits are going to be 100K each just in legal fees, combined with the fact that no matter what, Ethan is getting 150K minimum plus his own legal fees. I'm guessing in the Denims case that the damages will be around 300 to 500K over the 150K. And people say I clickbait. I actually just predict the future, guys. Anytime I say it's over, just wait. It just hasn't happened yet. I am a fortune teller. All right. What did I say? Ah, they're broke. They're cooked. Pegasus is always right. Let's go, baby. The H3 subreddit unearthed what appears to be an old podcast hosted by Denims, Anissa, and Casey Tron. Oh my god, a nightmare blunt rotation. Ay. We got this random idiot streamer. Maybe another lawsuit will fill the void in H3's art, normally reserved for Palestinian children. And then he deleted the tweet. Classic idiot, completely unrelated argument about Palestine. Turn everything into politics. You're not allowed to criticize anyone about anything because Palestine, guys. Alrighty, let's move on to Asmongold's reaction to the situation. He starts off by talking about the Hassan chair.
I don't know why he doesn't just pause it, because don't people want to hear what he says about the video? Like, I mean, because isn't this kind of like you saying that, like, nobody even cares about, like, me talking about this video? Like, well, really? I mean, think about it. So, because, like for me, in my opinion, I think that, like, people want to watch me react to a video because they want to hear what I'm saying about the video. Like, that's what I would imagine. Because, like, why else would you want to watch some bald tard in the corner screen interrupting your video unless you wanted to hear what he had to say.
All right, clearly Asmon was a little busy yesterday, did not watch my Omega Epic video. The reason is the chair has more intelligent commentary than him. The chair is actually more transformative, so he's actually doing the people a favor by leaving the room. That way, you don't have to listen to his dumbass takes, and I'd argue Hasan being in the room lowers the quality of the video. By the way, I just had to address this some point that people were making. They were comparing Asmon to Hasan or Denims, and I think that's completely insane. It's obvious that Asmon's reactions are far more transformative than any of them. He adds a ton of commentary, pauses the video, gives his insights, doubles the length of the video, generally very respectful with the whole thing. I think people who say all reactors are the same are just brain dead and think in black and white. As we know, nuance on the internet is absolutely impossible. And even in this whole Hasan series, some rare times I actually do have to defend Hasan because he's not actually wrong. Like over here, obviously his video was fair use in this context nuke thing because he reacted for 9 hours, and a bunch of people do cry about it because they just want me to say he's wrong 100% of the time, but I'm never going to do that. You know, I'm always going to look at someone's arguments and have a nuanced, fair take. Now, after this, Asmon says he supports Ethan in the lawsuit.
I think it's privileged people that are used to getting everything that they want for their entire life, used to being catered to, pacified, placated, and served constantly for their whole life. They get held accountable one time and they collapse.
The snarkers were going
Which
to...
I totally support Ethan in this, by the way. I do. If you are intentionally uploading somebody's content in order to deprive them of views as your primary goal, you are acting in a malicious way. And in my opinion, the way that I decide whether somebody is wrong or not, I look at what they're trying to do. Are you trying to hurt someone? In this circumstance, the answer is yes. And by the way, it's completely their fault. They never, ever, ever, ever had to call CPS on him. They never had to justify it. They never had to make it. And also keep in mind, this entire problem and this entire premise is built off of the fact that Ethan didn't want to say that Hamas was a good group.
Yes, Ethan made the grave sin of criticizing literal terrorists. That is unacceptable in the Hasan solar system, obviously. Immediate banishment from the squad. And yeah, this is kind of what happens when people have never been held accountable for the actions in their life. They're finally getting karma, and it is honestly wonderful. It is the find out phase. They've been effing around for years and years, and finally, it's about time to get some consequences. Then Asmon talks about using politics as a shield for everything.
I think it's a certain subset of these people that believe that because they have the right politics, any action or anything that they do is proactively justified because they're on the right side of some social issue or some political viewpoint. That's why, for example, whenever they get called out for calling CPS on Ethan, right, or they like rationalizing it, not necessarily promoting it, but rationalizing it, they don't even think about it, right? They're not even thinking about the consequences or anything like that. And by the way, when you criticize them for that, they say, "Why are you criticizing me while there's a genocide going on?" Well, I'm really glad this is happening because now, how are you crying about a lawsuit whenever there's a genocide going on?
That is absolutely genius. That is the legendary comeback now. You can use their own logic against them. It's just so funny how their own logic completely falls apart. And I think people in general are sick of this, right? People using politics to avoid all accountability. Just because you have a certain opinion doesn't mean you can slander people, commit crimes, and just all around ignore the law. It is not a get out of jail free card to do absolutely everything you want. And your little echo chamber makes it seem that way, but that's not how it works. Then he talks about Caseytron.
We've given each complaint a clever little title.
The reason why she's so comfortable is that she openly says and calls people rapists and says all kinds of insane, really bad, defamatory stuff on Twitter constantly. And she suffered zero consequences from it from Twitch. She's another one of these people that somehow has plot armor because I'm assuming some of her politics line up with some of the politics of the moderation department of Twitch.
Yeah, so if you guys watch every single video of mine, you might have seen her here and there in some random videos because she's always in the replies of whatever drama, like a terminally online Twitter goblin, and she has the most insane radical take about everything. I actually thought she was like a Twitter troll, but apparently these are her actual opinions. Just a pathetic, grotesque individual in my opinion. Then Asmon actually predicts Hasan's reaction.
And also, I guarantee you Hasan is probably going to try to like make an excuse for why this is okay, when he knows 100% that they're in the wrong. 100%. They're in the wrong. Everybody knows it. It's obvious. They're even saying that they're in the wrong. And somehow there's going to be a reason why it's not a problem.
Yeah, Hassan did actually just justify this. I guess he just ignored the entire video and watched cut up clips from his cult fan base on Twitter, and also just frowned because now his friends are going to beg him for money and he's going to lose their support when he says no.
Can you explain why they need to GoFundMe? Aren't they rich anyway? They're not rich at all, bro. Like, absolutely not. These people are bottom feeders. Like, you probably make more than they do working at McDonald's.
Right, so a lot of people have this misconception that all streamers and content creators are rich. That is absolutely not the case. Now, if they have a lot of viewers, yes, they probably have a lot of money, but Frogan and Caseytron absolutely broke. They get no viewership, barely any donations. You saw she was begging for her rent money on stream. She obviously has nothing. Frogan can barely afford her own groceries. Heck, that would be a challenge for even Bill Gates. Now, Denims is the only one that might actually be middle class because she did get a bunch of viewers. But the only problem is the lawsuit will end up costing like $500,000, and I highly doubt that she has that kind of cash. You know who does though? Hassan. Hassan definitely has that kind of money, but he wants to spend it on more mansions instead. Now, Tectone reacted as well. Here's what he said.
And Denims, the queen.
Yeah! Oh, shit, dude! If you get me in contact with your lawyers, bro, I'll do it too. Hit me up. Hassan's like an e-girl that has their clothes on. It's like, why am I watching this? You know, like, bro, do something. You know, jiggle your balls a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me something to watch. Like, damn, bro, like, I'm dying here. Hey, guys, so 3 of my friends are getting sued because of me, but it's like, whatever and shit, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Hassan is totally unfazed, guys. His entire world is definitely not falling apart. All his mainstream friends are forced to abandon him because of his extreme stances. All his political friends are getting sued into the ground. The government literally has eyes on him. The mainstream media, who he loves so much, is shitting on him. There's infinite pressure on Twitch, on Amazon to take action as well. But everything is fine, guys. I'm totally unaffected. Look at me. I'm so chill. Now, I did save the best analysis for last. We got XQC.
And with people like Hassan reacting to entire TV shows on stream.
Check Azan stream. Can we get a think about this?
Now, you're probably asking yourself, what are the odds that we get the Hassan chair? Actually, quite high, obviously, considering he always does this shit. How ironic, bro. Oh my god, as he's reacting to the video exposing him. Now, click this video, or Frogan jumps up and down and causes a worldwide magnitude 10 earthquake. I'm not playing with these threats. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.